There we go. Now we got it started. So, good evening, everybody. Glad to have you with us this evening. I'm Past District Governor Chris Gunstream. I serve as the Global Action Team leader for our little area 1A, and our little area encompasses 5 MDs. We have MD2, MD26, your MD, MD3, MD7, and MD8, which is Past District Governor Terry Harkey's district. I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad to serve in this capacity. It is a new role for me, and one that is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. There's some challenges that are in front of us, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm just thrilled to meet you and thrilled to be able to see everybody. I'm going to ask my cohort in crime, and I want her to introduce herself, and that is Past District Governor Terry Harkey. She serves as my assistant area leader. I don't like that term assistant. So if you will hear me refer to her as my vice, she is my vice governor, or my not governor, but my co-chair, if you will. She and I work hand in glove. Assistant does not describe what she does for what she does for us. So, Terry, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Since I turned my mic on, I am struggling with laryngitis right now. So I'll just say I'm happy to be here and be with all y'all.
Well,
Terry Harkey, MD8.
Terry, I forgot you had some laryngitis going on there, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot, so I apologize. But we're glad to have you here with us, and we hope you get feeling better and that laryngitis goes away. And so before I get started with all the stuff that we're going to cover this evening, I'm going to ask Council Chair Harold if you might have some words of wisdom to throw out there to us before we get started.
Well, not really. I guess just keep chugging along. Got this year's, heck, this is July and August is already gone, and this year's flying by fast. So
it really is flying by fast, isn't it? It's amazing how I can't believe we're already at the end of August. Tomorrow's going to be the first day of September. So we're going to have, if the year goes as quick as it's going right now, in the next blink or two of our eyes, it'll be past. So we've got some work ahead of us. So Harold, just so you'll know, one of the things that I think is extremely important in what we're trying to accomplish this year in our GAT area, and what we're trying to accomplish in the Constitutional Area 1. A very important factor in all that is council chairs. I'm quite aware and quite I think I have a pretty good understanding about some things, but I know that council chairs can't tell councils what to do, and we're not, and as a council chair, that's not your job. But I do believe that council chairs do hold a little bit of influence and can help change an attitude, or maybe help to move a council in a direction or another based upon just some suggestions. So we're gonna rely upon you as being an integral part to the team. I believe in the council. I don't believe in just the governors. I don't believe just in the council chair. I think all of you make up a team, and I think the team is how we move things forward. So that's how I view it, how I look at it, and I feel very sure that's how y'all look at it. But that just lets you know that that's how Terry and I see this. It's a team approach. It's a team concept, and we're all here to try to make everybody successful. Number one, but number two, and probably the most important, is to to help our organization grow and increase our service footprint to our communities. So with all that, Harold, that kind of lets you know that's where I'm at with with council chairs, you are a part of this. You're not just that guy that sits off or that guy that sits off to the side and, you know, herds cats. You actually are a part of all this, and nothing that I do with your governors will ever be done without you knowing that when I communicate to a governor, I will communicate and make sure that you are copied too on every one of those pieces of information. Okay. I don't want you
All right. Sounds good.
I just don't think it's fair. You know, I have some council chairs say, nah, just go ahead and talk to my governors. I may be putting some stuff in their heads that you may not want me to be putting in there. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page together. I'm going to share my screen a little bit. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room, if you all are not aware, is this wonderful little thing called Mission 1.5. And I'm on slideshow start there. How many of you have heard about Mission 1.5?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we know we've heard about it. Here's the next question, and I can't see everybody on the screen that's here, so I'll just ask you to just say yes or no. Are you, when you were in, and first off, did everybody go to Boston to the convention this year?
Yes.
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 All right. And at the convention, when you pulled your ribbon and when you took that oath, at the convention, you were asked to accept a challenge. Are you fully aware of what you accepted?
Yes. I think so.
And you know what? And you know what? A no answer is okay to tell me that, because I wasn't completely aware of what I accepted. So it's okay to say, yeah, you did, but maybe you didn't quite understand it all. So we're going to kind of go through we're going to talk about the challenge that you accepted this evening. But first and foremost, I'm going to kind of go over back during the first part, around the 10th of August. I was back. I was up in Chicago. We had an area leader training on Mission 1.5, or onboarding, as they want to call it. We had all constitutional area leaders from all 8 constitutional areas, and all area leaders from all those constitutional areas were in attendance at this meeting. So it was a pretty interesting group of folks, pretty dynamic group of folks, and a great mix of people, and with cultures and all those kind of things. And during this onboarding, we spent a lot of time in our own groups developing and talking about Mission 1.5 and how we're going to develop a plan for Constitutional Area 1. And then that plan filters down to our area 1A. So how many of you here are aware or have an understanding of the global membership approach? I'm not hearing a whole lot of good stuff there. So that lets me know that maybe, just maybe, we have some training to do, or some opportunities of learning to do with the global membership approach. And why I ask that question is because at the very onset, the GMA process goes through 4 functions. It goes through build a team, build a vision, build a plan, and then we got to build success. Well, in what we did, and what past International Director Pat Vanette did in using the global membership approach, is that she built a team, and that team consists of 8 constitutional area leaders, or area leaders within CA1. There's 8 of us, and then each one of us have a vice. Again, as you heard me say, I don't want to call it an assistant. I think that's a wrong term, but as a vice. And so from that, she built a team, and then the next thing we did is we built a vision. And how we go about building a vision is through a SWOT analysis. And how many of you are familiar with the SWOT analysis?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm not going to go through this and read the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats. We're all grown people. You don't need me to regurgitate what's on this slide. But I think for the most part, that this depicts a pretty good picture of where we are with strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats throughout Constitutional Area 1. It may not necessarily fit each district, but as a whole, I think it does a pretty good job. So we have some, as you can imagine, normally strengths are much less than weaknesses will ever be. The weaknesses can get really, really long, and we certainly didn't want to jump on that bandwagon too hard. Opportunities, I think there's some great opportunities that we have, in threats. I think that the threats tell a good story about what we're up against, and so we kind of picked the ones that we thought were the top four, and that's what you see there. And this is based all across Constitutional Area 1. From that, we had a report out, and in that report out, we talked about a couple of things, and in this particular slide, what I think is important to see is that in Constitutional Area 1, we felt that there is a lack of experience in club extension for the current district leaders and the small number of districts with extension teams. And what we mean by that is that if we take a look, and if I were to take a look at just MD26, and I take a look at that, and if I look at your track record over the past 10 years, MD26 has put in on average a grand total of 1.36 clubs per year. And each one of you has stated that you're going to put in at least one club this year. So you're going to be almost 3 clubs more than what your average is. So based upon what we were able to look at through our data, is that we do lack, I think we lack depth of experience, and of our pool is not deep enough right now. We need to get more people trained, and more people that are confident and comfortable in putting in new clubs. I'm not saying that none of you have put in a new club. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that based upon past history, we've kind of gotten out of the habit of putting in new clubs. And I think that if we all take a look at the COVID year starting in 2020, we really got out of the habit of doing a lot of things that we used to always do that were good things prior to that. So we need to take a look at what we're doing, and then also based upon the information that was provided to us by district governors in their district goals this year, the majority of the new clubs that are going to be entered will happen during the second half of this year. While I wished we would have come up with saying it was going to be in the first half, it was not. It was in the second half. And those of you who have served as governors, and I know Harold has, Terry has, and I have for sure, when you get to the second half of the year, that year is almost behind you. I mean, that second half goes so fast. When you get to January to May, or April or May, when you're going to do your district convention and state convention, the year is just it's almost over. I mean, it is over. So it goes by so quick. So we're going to have some work cut out for us. Now, I don't think that all of you have your club scheduled for going into the second half of the year. Again, what you're seeing here on this report out, and what you're going to see this evening, is what was reported out based upon the information all across Constitutional Area 1. The plan that we developed coming out of building the vision, and then we're going to build the plan, is that by the 31st of August, we were going to, by the 31st of August, all area leaders will share their targets, the shared targets with the multiple districts and the districts. So that's why we had to get all these calls in, or all these Zoom calls in, by the 31st. We just got you guys under the wire. So we're making sure that we did that. One of the things that I want you to know is that there were some targets that were presented to me that Lions Clubs International wanted me to go back to the district governors and say, this is what we want you to do. Kind of give you a little bit about me. My comment to them in Oak Brook when I was there, and then in an email that I sent back again just this past Saturday was, sorry guys, my district governors know what they want to do. We're not going to tell our district governors what they're going to do. They're going to tell us what they're going to do. And I'm happy to report that the information that you have submitted, that your plans are good plans. They are plans that move your district forward. You're talking about growing, each one of you growing your districts. That's what we want to look at. And you've talked about putting in new clubs. You've talked about adding new members. So I could care less about what their thought process is. My concern is what you put forward, and we're here to support you in meeting and exceeding the goals you put in. So we're not going to even talk about those targets that they asked me to talk about. Area leaders will work with the MDs and the districts to appoint a global extension team coordinator by September 30. I'm sorry, folks. And Harold, this is something that I'm going to ask you to be part of this process, is that each district governor must have an assigned GET by the end of September. Okay. It's just that important. It really is that important. And to go along with that, I'd like for all of you to get with Council Chair Harold and have him, and Harold, if you would respond back to me. I'd like to set up between now and sometime I'd love to do it by the end of October. May not be able to do it that quick, but at least before Thanksgiving, set up a new club extension training session for all of you. By the way, that would include your first and second vice district governors, your GETs, okay, and any of the people that might be a part of a team at the district level for new club extension. We will bring in a new club consultant to come in and train you on how to put in a new club. The good part about that is it doesn't cost the district anything to bring the consultant in. LCI is going to pay for the consultant to come in, pay for their hotel, pay for their food. So I would suggest maybe over a weekend. It's 8 hours worth of training. Start on a Saturday at noon and end on a Sunday by noon, and you're kind of done, one and done. But the main thing is that you're getting training, and I will ask, I don't know how many of you know Jody Burmeister, but I will ask Jody to come in and do that training. She's an outstanding trainer, and I think she would do a great job in doing that. So please, if you would, I need to have you do that. And also by December the 30th, area leaders will coordinate and ensure the delivery of the GET training utilizing the new club consultants. While it says by the 31st or the 30th of December, if we wait until then before you get out there doing your job of putting in new clubs, guess what? You're going to be behind the 8 ball, and it's really going to be hard to get those new clubs in. So we're going to try to get that training done. My goal is to get your training done before Thanksgiving. And so again, if you would coordinate with Harold, and Harold, if you would let me know what's a good date, then once I get that, then I can get a hold of LCI and a hold of Jody to set that date. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Membership growth and retention. Hey, there's no doubt that during this year, we know that that membership is we're not gonna get, but about 50% of our growth is gonna come from new clubs, and the other 50% is going to come from new members and retention. So, and we know that, and that's kind of a good mix, and I think that's a great mix to have. Beginning in August, we're going to, and ongoing, all areas will be providing and using the global membership approach training in the following manner, and that's why it's so very, very, very important that you have a good understanding about GMA. And I will ask this: if any of you if you would like to have GMA training done at an overall MD session via Zoom, or if you want to have a district GMA training via Zoom, contact me. I will be glad to provide training for you and your district or your MD if you want that training to be done that way. I will tell you, GMA training is going to take about an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's not long, but I don't like to run through it. And more importantly, I like to be able to open it up to a question and answer session. And if you think it would be better attended, or if it would be better for me to be there in person to provide that training, let me know, and I can do that as an MD training. Okay, so whatever it is that you would like for it to be, we can set that up and make sure that it happens. Let's see, we go through all this stuff here that by August 30th, all leaders will encourage the MDs and districts to appoint a GMA champion. If we take a look at the positions within the GAT, you all have, we all know about a GLT, GMT, and a GST. We do have the global extension team, which was brand new, added last year. If you go into my LCI, you will find at the district level, there is a spot for a GET. You can actually assign a person, and they will show up as the GET. Unfortunately, there's not a spot there for the GMA champion. That will change when the new system comes online, and I know that all of you think that the new Lions portal is going to happen come September the 15th, right? No, I'm going to tell you it's not going to happen until January of 2024, and I'm not real hopeful for that. And I'm giving you that information straight from the horse's mouth that it came to me yesterday. Okay, that came right from Vice President Mark Lyon. So he's saying January of 2024. I think we'll be lucky to see it by July of 2024. So anyway, yes, sir.
It will be right when it rolls out that way.
That's exactly right. And you know what? That was the comments that they asked us back or that's the question they asked us back in Chicago, and unanimously across the board, every one of us said, don't roll it out just to roll it out. Make sure it's right. Make sure it's right. And then, because we're still fighting the same issues with my Lion,
One shot, and that's the first shot that these people get on it. And then if they don't get on it, then it's right where we were. So that's they're waiting that way.
Now I know that it says here we need to appoint that champion by August 30th. I'm going to ask you to please appoint that champion by September the 30th. Okay. And just to let you know, it's okay to ask your GMT to serve as the GMA champion. There's a big difference between a GMT and a GET. GMTs are supposed to be there to help work with membership and membership growth at the club level. There's nothing wrong with asking that GMT to serve as a GMA and then look for somebody to take on that role the following year. But the GMA is a great person to put in there. If you have clubs you need to rebuild, that GMA champion is a perfect person to put in charge of helping you rebuild clubs. Your GET, which is so much different than your GMT is there to help put in new clubs. GMTs are there to help grow membership at the club level. Okay. Let's see, by September 30th, all area leaders must assist the MDs and districts in providing training to zone chairs or how to deliver the GMA process to Lions clubs. Again, would love to be able, I know we're moving into the 1st of September, so we're a little bit behind the 8 ball. If you think that you can put together, or not put together, if you think that you can get your zone chairs to collectively say that on a specific date that we could hold zone chair training virtually, and that zone chair training is going to run about an hour and a half, and it will be presented by past District Governor Mark Roth, who is part of my GAT team. He can do that training for you. This will fall back to you, Harold, working with your district governors. But if you could, again, kind of coordinate that, let me know when that training could take place. And we could do, and then again, if you don't want that to happen there, then I will gladly come in and do it. If you'd rather have it done on site, I can do it too. Either way, Roth or I can do that, but we'll gladly hold that GMA training for the zone chairs. It is just something that has to be done, because zone chairs, as you all know, are the heartbeat to what we do within a club. They're the ones that know the clubs. They're the ones that know the people. And if the GMA process is going to work, it has to start at the club level. It's got to be put down to that club level. So it's very, very important.
Okay, so you say that takes an hour and a half?
About an hour, hour and a half to do. Yes, sir. It does. It is a, we like to leave a little time for question and answer. I mean, Mark and I both can squeeze in GMA training pretty quickly. I mean, we can get it done in about a 45-minute time frame. But the problem with that is that I'm talking faster than my brain can keep up with, and I don't, I may skip over something. So he and I both kind of like to move it to about an hour, hour and 10 minutes in order to present, and leave it open for at least a 15 or 20-minute Q&A, because there's always somebody's going to have a question, and good questions. So if we could do that, that'd be great. Let's see here. We also were going to do we need to make sure that we train those GMA champions so they can take on the role of what their job is. And I think that if you have a good GMA champion, you're gonna find that there's a lot of value to the global membership approach process. And then lastly, the area leaders will include the MD GAT in their monthly accountability calls. And as you all saw, we have got those calls are scheduled and set for your nights, or I do believe are Tuesday nights, if my memory is right. But you got my email on that, and there will be on that same night every month. Okay, is when it will be. Let's see here. One of the things that we all hate to talk about, and that's strategic planning, but fortunately or unfortunately, we need to really think about that. We need to think about where we're going to be, not only at the end of this year, but where we're going to be at the end of next year, and at the end of 4 years. If we just take the run of Mission 1.5, which is to grow our membership to 1.5 million members by July the 1st, 2027. Okay, if we look at that, that's a 4-year run. So if we develop a strategic plan that will take us to there, then I think that we will get used to the fact of always working on a strategic plan that is a few years out. We used to call it long range planning. Now they're calling it strategic planning. Whatever term you want to put to it, I don't care, but make a plan or develop a plan that goes a few years out, that we're not trying to reinvent the wheel each July the 1st that rolls around for the district governor when they come in. We have to make sure that the MD GAT will be involved in this training. The MD GAT coordinators will be involved in mentoring the development of the action plans for districts and support of the area leaders, and that the area leaders will collaborate with group leaders. And I love this, to meet. I don't think they meant to eat, but to meet MEET, this objective. So uh, what that is all saying in a nutshell is we need to make sure as a GAT that we train our GAT members, that we train the local GAT teams, and that area leaders and my team are here to help you. And I mean that. And you'll hear this a few times tonight in this call. While I may put some things out there that are cut that I have to tell you at the end of this whole thing, we're here to help you. I mean, that's the bottom line. We are here to help you. This is not about me. It's not about Terry. It's all about y'all. And we're here to support you and provide that assistance to you. And finally, in the report out, accountability. I won't read through all of this, but what it comes down to is that I'm going to hold each of you accountable for your goals. I am. But at the same time, that accountability runs two ways. There's a two-way street in that accountability. While I'm going to hold you accountable, if you need something from me, then I need to make sure I'm providing what you asked for. If I'm not doing what I say I'm going to do, I want you to hold me accountable for that. You call me out on it. And if I am still not doing what you want me to do or what you've asked me to do, please do not hesitate to send an email or pick up the phone and call Pastor and National Director Pat Vedette and say, you know what, that idiot you got down there running 1A is not getting back to me. He's not supporting me the way that I need support. That's how serious I am about accountability. We're here to account. We're here to help each other. We're here to hold each other accountable. And I think if we do that at the end of the day and at the end of this year, we will be successful in our approach in moving our organization forward. You will also, I do communicate quite a bit. I'm trying to, at the very beginning of this whole year, emails have been a little bit fast and furious. So you've gotten a few of them from me. They will slow down. I will try to slow that down as much as I can, so I'm not loading your inbox with a bunch of frivolous emails. You will get from me on a weekly basis. You will get a newsletter. I think you got that last newsletter this past Saturday. And it goes out every Saturday. And that newsletter will have information in it that I think will be of help to you. There's a lot of good resources that are in there, and there's a lot of good information that I think we can pass on. And we share a lot of good stuff that are in there. So please be on the lookout for that email. If you need anything in between time, or if there's something that I can do, please do not hesitate to give me a call or to call Pastor Governor Terry Harkey, who is my vice. So that's really what I want to talk to you about from the standpoint of Mission 1.5 and what came out of the meeting that we were all in, and how we came about, how those goals came about, and the things that took place. So that's really what I want to talk about there. As we move forward through my agenda, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and each one of you feel free to raise your hand, answer, or just answer. You don't even have to raise a hand. I do notice that all of you have submitted district goals, which is good. I'm glad to see that. There are a few of you, though, that did not attach any action plans to those district goals. And so my question would be, if you did not attach an action plan, how are you going to reach those goals? So if you didn't develop an action plan, maybe you might want to think about doing that. And I think if you look at action plans as being the roadmap to how you're going to achieve the goals, if you look at it that way, that's fine. But we need to have some action plans and be specific. I know we get tired of hearing about SMART goals, but if you can at least be specific, give some time frame when it's going to happen, who's going to do it, and what you might need to get there. Please develop those, add them to the district goals you've already done, and submit those to LCI so they can be incorporated into that. because it really does help. Because when I go through and I take a look at district goals, and I've looked at every one of them, and I see that we don't have action plans, and then I see we have certain actions that we're going to do, it makes me wonder how we're going to get there. So it's very important that we do that. One of the things that I asked you all to make sure you're able to talk about this evening was new club development. Where are we, and what can Marilyn, I'll start with you. What might you be able to tell me about new club development in your district in M1?
Well, right now we're just basically right now, because of the cabinet secretary situation, I'm kind of floundering a little bit. A lady that I had wanted to talk to about new club development, because she chartered, well, she's last year's district governor. She chartered a club in April or May, I believe. And she's had some experience for it. So I was going to talk to her about accepting that position of GET. And I just talked to her just before we had the meeting. And her husband has Parkinson's disease, and so she's paralyzed from the legs down. Anyway, long story. She's not going to be able to do it, so I'm going to have to find somebody who can.
Okay.
Let
me ask this: Do you have all of your zone chairs assigned?
No, I do not. Okay. I can't get anybody to accept them. And I've got two. Well, I've got one new one. And I've got one who has been a zone chair before. He is our cabinet treasurer, and so.
Okay. The and I'm going to make, and I hope that I don't have Harold just want to reach out and try to strangle me. But while we do want to use, well, we would love to have club presidents, or at least a past club president, serve as his own chair. If you have a lion who is not a president, who's never served, but would like to be his own chair, reach out to him.
Okay.
And you know what, at the end of the day, and we'll get to the very fact of this at the very end of the day, if you need to ask, and again, Harold, I'm not trying to overstep a bound. I know we're trying to develop leaders, but we also just could look at a way of developing some leaders early. But at the end of the day, if you have nobody that can do that, then maybe you might want to ask. I hate to go and ask a past district governor, but maybe ask your first or second vice district governor to help serve in the capacity of zone chair until you pick up or till you can find a zone chair to do that.
I've had a suggestion from one of the past district governors, who's also a club president in West Plains, that she has a new member who has been, I think, active in another civic organization in another area, maybe, and has moved in and wanting to serve. And I had told her, well, he needs to be a club president. And so she said, okay, so I will go back and talk with her. And then we have the new club, East Prairie, that is on the go, and they're willing to do whatever they can. So I may approach them because they're one of the zones that we need a chair in, and tell them about the training that we're going to have and this kind of thing.
Right. And we'll train. I mean, we will provide as much training as anybody needs. And I mean, I can't say that enough. We've got some excellent trainers. I mean, my goodness gracious, I've got, I'm fortunate that I have Terry, who is also not only is she FBI trained, but she's also a certified LSIP instructor. So I mean, we've got great trainers that can come and be on site to do training. So we don't have to do them virtually. We can actually do them on site if we need to do that. But the reason I mentioned and asked the question about zone chairs is that zone chairs can truly help you identify areas that of potential for new clubs. Because they know, well, look, I think that I knew my district probably as well as any governor that ever served before me or after me. but I certainly didn't know my district as well as those zone chairs know the area of their zone. They know where there's, and they know the nuances in those areas. So, and what I mean by that is maybe, you know, you don't want to have a group from this side of town and then a group from this side of town, because they both kind of don't get along with each other. So, and believe me, I had that happen in a town called Huntington, Texas, where literally one side of town across the highway didn't like the other side of town across the other. So we formed a club, and guess what? That didn't work well. So they know the nuances. So, but that's a way to figure out where you might be able to put in a new club. Okay. And I don't know, have you thought about do you have an idea where you might have a new club go in?
I don't, what I've want to look at is we have a couple of clubs that have been out of existence for a while. And I've thought
Okay.
about going into that area and seeing if maybe we could reestablish a club. One of those is the Wapapella area. Their sign is still up. So I know it's a lot of tourist action going in there, but I really thought about those. There's like 3 or 4 to go back and visit the community, because basically this club that was started in May actually had 3, 4 members that were old that we'd been trying to get involved with them to get them to rebuild the club, and they just didn't. So they took a different approach and got in that way. So I was just wondering about going into some of these old areas, if there might be a renewed interest.
And when you're looking at old areas, I would strongly urge you to take a look at how long it's been since the club has not been there.
Right.
If you're going into an area that club is 2-3 years out from being closed, you're not going to put a club in.
No.
Because the reason the club closes, there's a lot of reasons for that, but then there could be a bad taste in the community's mouth with Lions, because they did lose that club, and that club was vital to the community. So
Right.
you got to be careful where you look at it going.
Exactly.
What about membership? What are your plans for growing your membership this year?
I'm going to check. I mentioned this, I think, in the council meetings when we've had council of governors meetings. We need, let's just like there's a club just north of us that has been a vibrant club in the past. My husband happened to come across the president of the club just yesterday, and he is wanting to revitalize his club. So, and
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
That's okay. We just need to schedule a time with him and with some of the members in the club to get together and do an analysis of what we can do.
Okay.
Just do a SWOT analysis and if not, just brainstorm about who we can approach. Sometimes we've got family members, but we don't think about them.
That's very true.
And who do you know? The who do you know situation. We can go through that. And
have you thought about doing any type of membership drives throughout the district, as far as maybe holding October is going to be our first we should always be working on membership, and they should be a drive going on all the time. October is the first Lions Clubs International recognized membership drive, which is that month. Do you have anything? And if you don't, maybe you might want to think about getting your clubs to hold a membership drive, or maybe asking your clubs to pool together and maybe do a membership drive by zone, or whatever the case might be. Or think a little bit outside the box and go with that. Because if I take a look at your goals, you're talking about adding 1 new club with 20 charter members, 51 new members, and you're talking about losing 40 members for a net growth of 31. So you've given yourself a pretty good goal. I'm not saying that and I'm not saying it can't be done because it can, but you've given yourself a good goal, and I want to make sure that you reach that goal. Okay, so whatever I can do to help you in getting there, please don't hesitate to ask me. Okay.
I'm going to plan to get my membership chair.
Is there are there any other areas or anything else that you can think of that I could be a help for you right now? Anything you need?
Not really. You've given me some good ideas on zone chairs, and that I want to get with my membership chair and pick his brain about some of the things that he has planned, if he has anything planned.
Right. And would you do me a favor, and could you share that with me? And I'm gonna ask this because it's a personal favor. I'm gonna ask if you could. I'm looking at my calendar. If you could share that with me by if you could share that with me by Monday. I have a call with our GAT with my constitutional area leader on Tuesday, and I'd like to be able to give her as much up-to-date information as I possibly can.
Okay.
I'd appreciate it very much.
All right.
Thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate it so much. Harold, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't overstep a bound by saying it was okay to use somebody other than a club president. But by golly, when times are tough, you got to find different ways of making things happen.
I agree with you. We've got to, sometimes we got to find somebody who's willing to do it. And they may, somebody that may not even been, interested in doing anything in the district yet, but, they're good in their club and they're well known. So,
Right.
no, I agree with you. You got to sometimes step outside the box.
Well, can I interject something here?
Yes, ma'am.
I've never been a club president.
Really?
No. I was a club secretary, and basically who runs the club? The club secretary.
Sure.
When you get down to the nitty gritty, club secretary for 12 years or so. And I was told by one past international director, we were talking about zone chairs, and I said something to him. He was wanting my husband to be the LCIF coordinator for the district. And so I said something about being a zone chair. And I said, but I'm not a club president. He said, you don't have to be. He said, I can appoint you as zone chair. So that's been the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
A thorn in my flesh by somebody who has been trained that I am really not legally qualified to be district governor because I've never been a club president.
Well, we're not going to go down that road. So, and you would never. There are way too many district governors that have been appointed that may not have met all the criteria, and there's been way too many of them that have been appointed for more than once that have outlived their usefulness. So,
okay,
we won't worry about that. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. That to me doesn't matter. My only concern is to making sure that you have a successful year, and
Thank
that
you.
I am here to help you to make sure that you get there. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. James, I haven't forgot about your parts. I know you're thinking, my God, I'm just listening to everybody else talk. Nobody cares about me, but I do care about your parts, and I appreciate you hanging out and not going anywhere. Can you tell me what you might have cooking for new clubs right now?
Well, of course, part of the strategy is, going down the line and fulfilling all your zone chair people, just like you've talked about here these past few minutes, because they do know their clubs in and around. They know kind of where it's jumping, where it's not, what condition the clubs are in. We don't have all our zone chairs filled. And this year, kind of because of that, my goal or my strategy was to try and have co-zone chairs
That's okay.
to kind of help each other and or help teach each other, help learn from each other, and help, kind of complete, their duty. Some of the zones have a little travel time, and rather than somebody quitting it all together, maybe they could, kind of like that thing where two can double it, and the trouble can be halved. Kind of like when you get married.
Sure.
Double the
Sure.
joy and cut the crud in two, and it'll make it a lot easier. So, trying to work on getting some dual zone chairs. So that's one of the goals. And as far as a new club, I've kind of had one in mind for, the past couple years, and it's just a matter of trying to get to that area and known some people. It just seems like, of course, everybody is always busy, kids, projects, work, and just doesn't seem like there's as much time out there as there used to be. But that's kind of an old wives' tale too. I mean, you'll make time for what you want to do.
Right.
There's more activities, more school sports than there ever used to be, and I think that's always kind of hindered some families and such. But of course, another goal is to try to get some young people involved. My daughter started up a Leo club last year, and she got hired for at a school for the first year since graduating college, and she had 10 students. Just kind of took that underneath her arm and try to get something started. And then she went to this second year, and she's got 17 kids. And of course, you try to hold on to those kids and have them continue in Lions. They may or may not. There's no guarantee, but how can we retain those kids? So that's one, trying to support her and continually have her grow and for herself and in the area. If we can continue to grow the Leos, I think we'll be able to retain some and get some younger blood in the district. I know in a lot of areas, a lot of districts, there's a lot of rural area, and you have a lot of farmers. You have a lot of older folks, been doing it for years, and they're about tuckered out and are getting old or passing away, and really, there's not a lot you can do about that. But they're passing away. But how can we replace the membership? And the other issue is we've always done it this way, and it's the way it's going to be. And so you try to bring in some younger people who have new ideas, and they either will accept it or won't accept it. And if they won't accept it, then you're not going to be able to retain any new members. So that's sometimes one of the hurdles that you run into. And of course, I'm just kind of saying, run into what's out there. But getting back on course with this strategic plan, trying to make it more of an effort to visit the clubs. Since that COVID, the first year or two, a lot of clubs weren't meeting. Then they started, and of course, Harold was district governor last year, and he made it around, visited a lot of clubs, got some new zone people, and I got a bunch of visits planned and set up, and I want to try to do what he did as far as, be familiarized with the clubs, find out some of the people's strengths and how we can, increase the leadership in their club slash, fulfill the zone chairs and continue kind of down that course of action. If that all kind of makes sense.
Yep, it kind of does. I'm gonna back up on a couple of things on here so I can kind of get a little bit of clarity. You talked about Leos, and Leos are great. We want to bring as many Leos in our organization as we possibly can. But
Right.
please understand, Leos don't count for you nor against you. They are a Leo. They're not a lion. So while that and what I mean by that is that they're not members of your Lions clubs. They are a member of a Leo Lions club, and so it's a little different. They don't pay a due. They don't. There's a lot of things they don't do. The good thing is they don't count against your membership when they leave, but they don't count for your membership when you add more to them. So while it's very important to add Leos, and we would love to see a good conversion rate from Leo to Lion as they move from graduating out of high school, or if they go into an Omega Leo club at age 18 and stay in Omega Leo till age 32, at least a conversion from Leo into Lion. We'd love to see that great rate. But while I can applaud and appreciate you wanting to support your daughter in making sure that her Leo club grows, also realize that we could sure use that same sort of effort in growing our Lions within the district. Number one. Number two, sure. and number two, you talked about we have a lot of people that say we've always done it this way. Well, I'm going to make a little comment to you. I'm an old guy. If you have me on video, you can see me. I'm not exactly a spring chicken. So, but I'm one of those people that truly believe if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
Correct.
And I believe that with all my heart. And so the only thing that's constant in life is change. So we have to be able to change. And if you have people in a club that are like that, then turn it around. Do it this way. You got some young folks that want to join a Lions Club? Fine. Have them join a Lions Club and form a branch club or a club branch within the club they're going to join. It only takes 5 members to open up a club branch. They're not a different club. They are part of the parent club, but they do their own thing. They go about they have their own fundraisers. They have their own projects they go after. They meet when they want to meet, but they count, and their numbers count toward the parent club. That way they can set their own schedules, set their own times, and they will have like people that they're meeting with and not having to conform to the old codger way of thinking, if I can use that term and not hurt anybody's feelings on here. But that might be a way. And I will tell you very, very quickly, club branches work. They work very, very well, and they're very strong. We can always take a look at probably one of the best club branch clubs in the United States, probably is and it's the largest club in the United States, and that is Seal Beach Lions Club in Seal Beach, California. That club has a total membership of about 425 members, and of the actual club itself, that club actually has maybe 100 to 125 members of the host club. Everything else, they have a ton of different club branches, all doing things that support the projects that they want to support. And they just go up, and none of them want to change and go off and be their own club. They like being a club branch. So it is an opportunity that you might be able to use to bring new blood in those clubs. And as I said, it only takes 5 people to form a club branch. Very easy to form. And if you have issues or you need some help with that, ask me. I will gladly help you with that. And I have a GMT on my that is part of my area group that will gladly walk you through that. I mean, he and I both have a real good understanding about club branches. As I take a look, James, and let me ask this: do you have Todd Miller? Is he your first?
No, he's actually an M7, which
Okay,
would
I'm
be
sorry.
F7
And never
city
mind.
area.
Never mind. I'll take that with Harold here in just a minute. Thank you for the answer to that. As I look at your district goals, one of the things that kind of jump out at me is that while I think it's great to say that you're only going to bring in 16 new members. How many clubs do you have within your district?
52.
So out of 52 clubs, you're only going to bring in 16 new members.
Well, kind of, granted based upon, past history, and the big thing, like I mentioned before, is there's a lot of people that's passing away. And of course, those members, they're going away. And so
That has nothing, James, that has nothing to do with new members.
sure, I understand. Well, okay, I guess I'm looking at the overall total then.
If I look at your 10-year average for your district, M4, over the past 10 years, you have averaged 85.6 new members a year. 85.
Wow.
In a 10. Last year, you brought in 66. Year before that, 97. You're talking about bringing in 16. And you got 55 clubs, you said?
52, yeah.
52
I
clubs.
guess I was looking at a net, not as a,
Your
from the
net,
front side.
yeah, and your net shows me at 23. And I also take a look, and I'm trying to get you to understand where I'm coming from. Okay. If I take a look at your net, if I take a look at your retention goal, you're telling me that you're only going to lose 13 Lions this entire year. Is that right?
Well, hopefully you lose none, but I understand, yeah.
Well, because your district over the last 10 years has lost on average 122.36 members over the last 10 years. Last year, you lost 93 in the district, and the year before that, 133. So why I bring that up to you, James, is I'd like for you to go back, take a look at your goals. Okay. If you want to stay with this number, you stay with that number. I'm not going to tell you got to change it, but I certainly would like for you to re-look at your goals, and maybe working with Harold, come up with something that might push you a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not looking to overtax you. I'm certainly not saying you got to be a plus 55 or bring in 55 new members. I would love to see you try to do that. I think every club being at least bringing in one new member this year, I don't think that's an unrealistic goal to ask of your clubs. But your clubs better than I do. But that's just me looking at data, not me looking at your area. Okay, so if you would take a look at that, and maybe working with Harold, if he was your district governor last year, work with him to try to come up with something that might work. That would at least get your district moving a little bit forward and not, because these numbers here are stagnation numbers. They're not moving forward numbers, and we need to be bold. We don't need to have hairy, audacious goals, but we need to be a little bold in how we go about it. One of the things I'd like to ask for both of you to think about, and that is to think strongly about making sure that every club in your district is aware and is working toward Club Excellence Award qualification.
Okay.
And if you do that, I mean, if we do that, think about where we would be in membership throughout Constitutional Area 1 if just 50% of the clubs in Constitutional Area 1 were Club Excellence Award recipients. I mean, we have 1,424 clubs within our within our Area 1 for GAT Area 1A. If we just had half of that, we would have over 700 plus in membership at the end of this year if just 50% of the clubs were Club Excellence Award recipients. That's huge. That's huge. So if you could, and if you're not familiar with Club Excellence Award, please reach out to me. You can go to Lions Clubs International, type in Club Excellence Award. It'll take you right to the homepage or to the web page for Club Excellence Award, and give you every bit of information you need. And it will show you this year's. It has this year's application of what a club has to do in order to meet the qualifications for Club Excellence Award recipient to receive it. The biggest thing, they got to be a +1 in membership growth, and the rest of it is pretty simple. So it's pretty straightforward. So please, if you could, work with your clubs to try to get them to be Club Excellence Award recipients at the end of this Lions year. James, is there? I know I've been a little bit. I may have come on a little bit strong there, and I'm not meaning to. We all have we have all accepted the challenge of Mission 1.5, and what you have established as your goals are not part of that Mission 1.5, and that's why I came on a little bit hard there. And I'm not,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be your enemy. Okay.
Nope, I understand. I appreciate that.
I really am not. And if there's anything, is there anything that you can think of right now that you need, or I can help you with, or that Terry can help you with? Anything that we can do to help you today to help move everything forward?
I mean, not that I know of. I just appreciate your ideas, your, mentoring, and, looking at goals and try to achieve something. So I appreciate that.
And please understand, if again, your goals are your goals. If that's what you want to stay with, you stay with those goals. And James, I will help you do whatever I need to do to make sure that you meet those goals. I think your lost goal is a little bit low, though. I think you're going to lose more than 13 members. I think that one will come back to haunt you a little bit. But hey, I was in the pilot program for the North America Membership Initiative when it started in 2018. I was a governor in 2019, and one of the pilot districts had a goal of a +1 in membership, and to have a +1 or to put in one new club. I thought they were being kind of poo-pooey about being a +1 since we're part of a pilot program. But you know what? They ended up being like a +10, and they won all the awards because they exceeded all their goals. So I mean, it is what it is. But I would hope that we would kind of push ourselves there. And if I can help you in any way that I can achieve the goals that you want to put forward, I'm here to do that. And I mean that sincerely. And all I am is just a phone call or an email away. And the same thing goes for Terry. She's just a phone call or an email away.
Okay,
Harold,
thank you.
You bet. Thank you, James. I'm going to M20 or M7. They're having some issues with getting a membership development grant through. Todd has submitted the grant on behalf of the district governor. The grant has been kicked back to him for clarification on some things. While I am not, gotta be careful how I say this. While I am not I think that there may be a little bit too much wanting to dot I's and cross T's back at LCI desk for this grant. I do understand what they're asking for. He did reply back to Gashlami at the GAT desk, which is the membership desk, saying that he just didn't think he had enough time to be able to do all this stuff. I have reached out to him and said, I will be glad to help him get this grant through if he would just tell me, A1, send me the grant, and then tell me what it is and then let me just have a conversation with him. I'll rework the grant paperwork for him so he can get the grant completed. And that goes for everybody in 26. If you have not put in for a membership development grant, do so. The money is there. If I'm going to say this one more time, put in that grant. Nobody is going to be turned down because of lack of money. Mission 1.5 is driving this. So this year, each district can put in a membership grant and you can receive up to $1,500 in grant money for membership growth and development. But Harold, if you could reach out to Todd,
Okay.
I want to help him. I want him to get that money. And apparently, I mean, when I read his email that he had sent to Guy, I felt him. I mean, I really I understood where he was coming from. They need the money to help do some things they want to do, but his time, he just doesn't have all that time. I will tell you that on the day that I got that email from him, I was on a phone call that evening with Vice President Mark Lyon, and I did pass on to Mark the frustration that our governors are having. I didn't mention Todd by name, but specifically, I said, we have to dot too many I's, we've got to cross too many T's. We're tying the hands of governors instead of freeing the hands up to let them go out and do the business. So is that going to help today? No, but it will get relayed back. It may help next year, but it ain't going to help today. But if you get that to him, I'd appreciate it very much.
Okay. Will do.
Todd, is there any, I'm sorry, Harold, is there anything that I can do or that we can do for MD26 right now to help with anything? Is there anything you guys need?
I've got all these notes and I'll send them out, and the people that weren't here, maybe they'll have some questions and I'll get back with you.
Okay, that sounds great. I have recorded this, so we'll convert it into a YouTube video. I'll forward it to you and you can send it out to the governors, or if you want me to send it out to the governors, I'll do that. I will recommend that everybody, please, if you have not ordered the Just Ask booklet, or if you have not seen Just Ask, to please do so. It is no longer a little brochure. It is a 30-page booklet. It needs to be in the hands of every club president. Truly,
Okay.
it does. It needs to be in the hands. So if you could do that, that would be great. And if you could, Harold, if you could send me if you could send to Terry and I when your Council of Governors meetings will be.
Okay.
Would help
Yeah.
us. And the reason I asked that question, one of us will come visit, not to present a program, not to talk, just to come and visit, so we can say hello, see how, and if there's anybody needs anything, we can do that. But part of our charge is to visit the district, or to visit the MD. So we don't want to come and be a burden. We'll just come and be a little burden, or a fly on the wall in the back. Okay.
Okay. Well, I can tell you when they are now if you want me to.
Okay, go right ahead.
Be October 28th. It's at Camdenton, Missouri. It's at the old Kinderhook resort there. And
Okay.
then it's, oh, maybe I can't. Yeah. I don't have the January one down here. Well, just a second. We got it. January 27th. And that's at Jefferson City.
Okay.
And then state convention is April 8th or May.
No, April, sorry.
Yeah. April 18th through the 20th.
Okay.
And that's at Old Kinderhook in Camdenton.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. And I saw Terry write it. So we've got them written down, and one of us will be at one of those, And if you're in district governors, if you need or would like for Terry or I or any one of the team to come in and visit, please just ask us, and we will, as long as our schedule is open, we'll come in and do that. Okay. And don't worry about paying for us. We have a little budget, not a lot, but we have a little budget, so we'll use that budget. So, does anybody have any questions or any comments that they would like to pass on before we finish this call? I'm gonna ask Terry, even with a little raspy voice, to come on and say something if she'd like.
Club excellence is the best thing ever. It's absolutely fabulous. Changed our club completely. Zone chairs need to be trained and directed, because a lot of them come in new. I got to tell you, I had to teach myself when I was zone chair because nobody knew what to do. So anything, any of that kind of stuff you need help with, I'm your guy. So be glad to do it.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. Anything else, anybody? Well, I want to say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Again, I cannot say enough how happy and thrilled I am to be a part of this team. And at the same time, I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to help you. We truly are here to help. I may sound a little gruff sometimes, and it's not meant to be. I'm an old retired chief petty officer, spent 24 years United States Navy, so sometimes that side of me comes out. So I apologize, but I'm really not that bad of a fellow, and I really do care about everybody on this call. So again, if you need something, please text me, call me, send me an email. Same thing that I can say this for Terry. If you need something, please reach out to us, and we're there to help you. With that, I'm going to say thank you all very much for being with us this evening, and I look forward to seeing you again. And I'll see you guys, I guess, in about a month. We'll have another call, and be prepared to talk about some stuff. Okay. Thank you,
All right.
everybody. Bye now.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye.